Hey YouTube, this is Golden Green Ranger here with the Mrs. Golden Green Ranger. Now I know it's been a couple months, more like 3 or 4 since I uploaded a video, but I went through like a crisis of existence for a moment where I started listening to other YouTubers and just hearing them drone on about their opinion being right and how they feel like because they interpreted something a certain way, then it has to be that way. It made me very concerned that I was starting to sound like that, so which got me to panic. So I stopped recording. I know it seems like a silly reason, but it didn't feel comfortable, and it got to the point where the only time I was having fun was when I was recording with my wife, who was here with me, by the way. Yeah, for first time on camera, and we have a special guest. So anyway, I pitched the idea to my wife the other day, and we're just going to ignore the cat. I pitched the... this is staying in. I pitched the idea. All right. Thanks, sweetie.
She's going to come right back up.
I pitched the idea to my wife the other day. I said the only time I've had fun doing YouTube in the past year was when me and you recorded videos together, and we were laughing and having a really good time. My wife had mentioned that, I established a channel, mostly Power Rangers, and was I concerned that I'd lose an audience? And I said, what audience? So, I really wasn't really worried about it. I mean, anybody that's come to the channel for Power Ranger stuff, I appreciate it, and I still do love Power Rangers very much. In the corner of our little studio / room, I have a whole section dedicated to Power Rangers. Over here is my DC wall, and He-Man, of course, because who doesn't love He-Man? There's the Power of Grayskull sword right behind me. And there's my dresser, where you actually see a picture of underwear, so I know where to put my underwear. So, life's simple like that. But anyway, I figured we would do more of a podcast kind of thing. That way you really don't have to watch the video. You can kind of just listen to us. I'm going to actually record me and her for once, and I'll just put some pictures here and here. I'm going to try to, rear it up so you can see. Yep, probably pop up there. And that way, we can talk. But I did have a subject I wanted to talk about first, and it was literally what I kind of talked about earlier. Is the internet and YouTube reviewers ruining films? And are people basing whether they like a film on the general public's view of it too much, or are certain movies should be hated? Is my question. So you think about your answer, and I'm going to say why I said that. So I saw Thor: Love and Thunder last weekend. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest movie I'd ever seen. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't run out and, go, Thor! But I was like, it did its job and told a story. By the end of it, I was like, oh, cool. That was a movie. I had no issue with it, but then I remember the reviews, and whoa! The reviews acted like, Chris Hemsworth came out and spit on them. The reviews were really, really bad. To the point where I think the director, Taika Waititi, who everybody loved for Thor Ragnarok, I think he's fired. He's not coming back for Thor 5.
Really?
Yeah. Just one film, Same thing happened to Joss Whedon after Avengers Age of Ultron. Didn't get the reviews the first one did. So they were like, oh, thanks for setting the universe up. You're fired. And then he went on to abuse Cyborg. So, does it right, Fish? It's not funny. Abuse is not funny. It's messed up. Joss Whedon, you're a monster sometimes. I don't know. Allegedly, a monster. I don't know. And the other thing I want to point out is because of reviewers and films and people, generally the audience online, people will have this opinion where it's like, if you don't agree with their opinion on a film, you must, one, be wrong, or two, not know what you're talking about. And people throw out terms like pacing and story arcs and leaps of faith and all this stuff. And it's like, what happened to I watched a movie with my eyes, and I liked the words that were coming out of their mouth and the pictures they showed me. Isn't that what a movie is? It's just pictures and dialogue. Prime example would be, I love Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. You cannot tell me that's not the greatest superhero movie of all time. No matter what you say, if you hate that movie, you can talk about pacing, acting, you don't like Seth MacFarlane, you think it's silly, it's not like the comic. I don't care. I've seen that movie, and every time I watch Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, I go, oh, this is the greatest superhero movie ever made. I love that movie. But if you don't like it, that's fine with me. It didn't appeal to you like it appealed to me. Just like on the other hand, you're never going to convince me that Spider-Man Homecoming is a good Spider-Man movie. Because I didn't like it. And if you did, awesome. I'm glad I didn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know why? Because we can have two different opinions on the same thing and both interpret it right. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's okay. It's all right. And that's my problem with the internet right now. Because if you don't agree with somebody, you must not know what you're talking about. It kind of reminds me of politics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go. Cameo again. So I went on again. I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead. It's my lovely wife, everybody.
It's hard for me to have an opinion on this specifically because I don't really YouTube or internet very much. I see a preview, an ad. What's it called?
Trailer.
A trailer. I see a trailer for a movie and I say, "Ooh, I want to see that." I see people on Facebook, they'll say, oh, it's a really great movie, or I don't like this movie, and you'll tell me what other people say about it. I notice that there's just a lot of negativity, and that I'm not cool with. I've seen some really bad movies out there. Really bad. That Frankenstein movie that you really like.
Oh, God, I love that movie.
Yeah, not good.
Frankenstein Theory. That was good.
But you can always find something positive. We watched that movie a decade ago, and we still talk about it. So there's that.
Frankenstein monster over there making a noise.
So it's hard for me to say, like, from what I hear, it is more on the negative side, but you can always find something positive.
I agree. Like, we've been together for 11 years, and I think we've turned off 2 movies.
Yeah.
If I remember one of the scary movies, I couldn't even tell you what number it was. It was the one with Snoop Dogg. And that
Is that the one where they make fun of the Hunger Games? Can't miss a shot or something?
No, that was another one. No, I did finish that one, actually.
I was going to say, I like that one. That was funny.
Can't miss every shot.
Yeah, can't miss every shot.
And the other one we turned off was that Hercules movie with a guy from Twilight.
Oh, because it wasn't the Rock one.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, this is not good. But those are the only 2 films we've ever actually turned off. Most of the time, we'll watch a movie, and if we didn't like it, we'll say we didn't like it, but we'll have a good laugh out of it. But I agree. Most of the time, we watch a movie, we really like it. But here's my issue. 2016 or 2014, Ghostbusters?
Oh, it's a good movie. I really love that movie.
Okay.
I wish it got a sequel. I don't understand why it's not canon. Like, they left it out in this the newest one. I don't get that. That was so good.
I agree.
So funny.
I really enjoyed the movie.
And I don't even like the actresses in it.
I know. Well, I don't mind some of them.
I don't like
Kristen
Wiig.
Melissa.
And I used to like Melissa McCarthy on Gilmore Girls, and I didn't like her so much, but now I'm starting to like her again based off of the last few of her movies. So I wasn't super excited to see the movie, but it was so good.
I agree. It's really good. But that movie got hate before it even came out.
Yeah, because people hate women.
I wasn't going to go that far.
Women aren't funny.
But it is true. It got hate before it even came out. And then when they buckled down on that and made it even more, and then so many people came out with their, like, quote-unquote opinion and everything. Here's my issue. Back in the day, growing up, and even prior to that, people that reviewed movies went to school for film.
Yeah.
That was their legit profession. Leonard Moyton, or whatever it is. Remember, this goes way back when we were together in high school. Nerds. Back in 2005 and even early in a relationship, my wife used to pick me up these actual movie review books. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. Because there wasn't like a YouTube presence like there is now. And I would flip through it to look at like what movie. But the guy that wrote that, I think his name was Leonard Moyer. I can't remember. Correct me in the comments. Dude went to actual school. Like, he knows what he's talking about. Same thing with, were the 2 fat guys that used to review? Egypt and Edward?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you remember them.
Sure.
Either way, they literally did it for a, like, living. The people we see on YouTube now, I worked at a movie theater. You know what I mean? Like,
I worked at Blockbuster.
And I'm not saying your opinion isn't valid, but, like, where is your credence where you decide on, like, and more than that, and I've seen this on YouTubers, and there's one YouTuber, I watch, his reviews, and I mentioned the other day, it's like lately everything he's hated versus like when he first started out in his career, he was more positive about films.
Even if he didn't like it, he'd still have
he
something.
found the positive, yeah. And it was like he went from giving Green Lantern, that movie, a decent review to like crapping on Batman v Superman. And it's like way later in his career, and it's like, well, yeah, because now he's doing it as a job. He's looking for the flaws in it instead of just sitting down and watching a movie. Like, you know what movies I love? And I'm going to say it, and I'm not embarrassed. Family. Fast and Furious. I think they're fun. I know I don't go in knowing that they're going to be like award-winning and amazing and dialogue and fantastic. I'm like, oh, I see some unrealistic, ridiculous things in cars. Dwayne Johnson and like Vin Diesel. I can pretend Vin Diesel's tall. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun watching these movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, not every film has to. It makes me laugh because Martin Scorsese came out and talked bad about the Marvel films, and like people lost their mind on it. And it's like, out of anybody's opinion you probably should listen to, it's the guy that has more Oscars under his name than anything at Martin Scorsese. Like, dude is an amazing film. Like, he knows film. So if he says this is a popcorn film, this is an actual movie, well, dude probably knows what he's talking about. But even if you don't agree with him, that's okay. That's what I'm trying to get to the point of, like, and this all to say, the last point I want to make on this. Batgirl got canceled. Make you feel better.
Hate those.
Batgirl got canceled, okay? And people were like really upset online, and people are saying, Warner Brothers, you're the biggest villain. And
I'm upset in real life.
Yeah, and I get it. My wife's upset in real life. But I also want to point out Birds of Prey.
Oh, I love that movie.
Was a good movie.
So good.
Nobody went out and seen it.
Monsters. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Wonder Woman 1982. No one went to see it.
That one that just came out Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh. I wasn't crazy about it.
It's not the point.
It was a great. I mean, I find positives in it, but I didn't love it.
Not the point. Wonder Woman, the original, which was a really good movie, first Patty Jenkins directed movie, still one of the lowest grossing DC films. It did well box office wise because it had such a low budget, but it didn't do anywhere near the box office as other films. So is it that crazy that DC then cancels its female lead superhero movie? No. And it's not because DCs are monsters and they want to hurt everybody's feelings. You don't go see their films. They're not going to support. The only movies they're going to make, it's a business. They're going to make movies that they think are going to make money. And people have proven when Zack Snyder made, Batman v Superman, and people crapped all over that film, even though I think it's great. And, I've laid to rest how much I love that movie. I won't argue with anybody on it anymore. You don't like it, that's your opinion. I love that movie. You know what I mean? Tell me, do you bleed? Like, I love everything about that movie. People made fun of how dark and how that movie was too, symbolic, and I didn't get this, and Martha and all this stuff. You laugh, but that's what they did. Like, he very went in with like a Citizen Kane, very ideology of like what it would be like to be a superhero, like, kind of thing. And people didn't respond to it, which is fine. They're very too. But how did DC respond? Joss Whedon's version of Justice League. And what did people, I don't like it. Now everybody's like, well, why can't you give us a Zack Snyder? You did this. You did this. Like, I hate to say it, you made the bed, lay in it. Like, that's why Batgirl got canceled. It has nothing to do with the fact that the new Warner Brothers head is a supervillain. I mean, he probably is. But at the end of the day, if Batgirl was going to make money, and a ton of money, he would have been out there probably in a pink thong being like, this is the film for everybody. But the truth is, it's not. There's a reason why Batgirl got canceled and Flash hasn't.
Yeah. I'm hoping they bring Grant Gustin in to be Flash.
That'd be amazing.
He should have been it from the beginning.
You should have been it from the beginning.
Yes.
But
that would be cool.
And if this is too hard for you to understand, I'll break it down as simple as this. I love Nintendo, and I know this is going to be a crazy in another direction, but people always complain that Nintendo only makes Zelda and Mario games. You've heard people say that before, right?
Sure.
Support other franchises. Where's my F-Zeros? Where's my Metroid Primes? Everything like that. Metroid Dread that just came out, which was amazing, by the way. Still, and it was a great game, by the way. Great reviews, everything like that. Sold nowhere near as good as the worst selling Zelda of all time.
Mm.
You don't go out and buy the game.
You vote with your money.
Yes, it's as simple as that. So that's my issue. So it's like I just wish people would. Sorry, I tickled my wife's foot a little bit. That's why she jumped. I just wish people would understand that, like, it's okay to not agree with everything and not like everything, and it's okay to like both Marvel and DC, and it's okay not to like Marvel and like DC. It's okay to not like DC and like Marvel. Just because you feel that way doesn't mean that you're right. It just means that, you have a different opinion. Like, two people can watch the same thing and have two different emotions towards it. So not everybody has the same, taste in things. That's okay. I love certain things I'll always love, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise that it's terrible, because that's how I feel about them. Sometimes you grow up and you age a little bit and your opinions change on certain things, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you kind of stick in the same category and still really enjoy it, or I forgot what I was going to say, but point being, it's okay to disagree. But next time somebody goes online and says, man, I like Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp, you don't have to be like, oh, no, and type a million words to be why they're wrong. Who cares? Is it hurting you physically?
Besides the movie being a little long, it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love you. So, anything you want to say on this?
I didn't like Jaws.
So, just a little feedback on that. One of my favorite films of all time is the original Jaws. Anybody knows they re-released it in theaters in 3D, the original film. So I went to go see it by myself a couple weeks ago while my wife was taking the kids to go see DC Super Pets, only because I had seen DC Super Pets with my son earlier, but the two other kids wanted to see it. There's Jaws now. So I watched Jaws in 3D, and it was like seeing it all over again as a kid. It was really amazing. So I wanted my wife to have this experience. So I kept trying to figure out a way for her to go see it. And finally, yesterday, it lined up that she could go take our daughter to go see Jaws. Our daughter to go see Jaws.
Not that daughter.
No, our other daughter. And I took my youngest to go see the Dragon Ball Z movie for the third time I went to go see it, which wasn't bad. I just, 3 times is enough. But afterwards, I was really excited because my wife had never seen Jaws before, and we'd been together for a really long time and just never watched it. And I own it, by the way. And she got out and was like, yeah, I didn't like it. And I was like, what? It was just kind of heartbreaking because, really? Really, I did not push her off she's fine, everybody. But it kind of hurt because it was like, most movies I let my wife watch that I really love, she ends up liking a lot. We watched They Live with Roddy Piper. She got really into that. We watched The Warriors, a couple weeks ago, which is one of my favorite films of all time. Come out and play. But Jaws was probably the first one where she was like, nah, didn't do it for me. So that kind of hurts.
I mean, part of the reason is how much I love sharks, and I know that because of this movie, I guess because of the events that happened that the movie was based off of, a ton of sharks were killed. And I know people are currently afraid of sharks and they're afraid to go in the ocean and the water, and I think Jaws might have a little bit to do with that.
You see, you can't say that, and then you can't say things like, I don't think violent video games affect people. That's just not the case. Like, I saw Get Out. I didn't immediately look at you and be like,
I mean, you kind of did.
Are you trying to take my brain? Like, I can see your point, but I think there's always going to be a fear of the unknown, and sharks are unknown, and that's where the fear comes from. Yeah, maybe Jaws kind of buckled down on that. They don't love you. If you swim out in the middle of the ocean, they're not going to be like, oh, she's okay. She's okay. That's the one that liked us.
I'm not asking for the love in return. Right. But I did appreciate I forget who played him, the oceanographer, marine biologist.
Richard Dreyfuss.
I really liked his character because he his character was like, sharks aren't bad, man. This is a rogue shark. This is a crazy one.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I do appreciate
Well,
that.
there is in I think there's somewhere in the film, or it might have been in other Jaws, or maybe in like the deleted scenes, they talk about there was something wrong with that shark, and that's why he was in the shallow water. And they say his size might have a lot to do with it because it was like the man eaters of Africa, which was a true story. Both of them were like physically deformed and larger, so because of that they were eating humans because we're easy prey.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where, but we're not dissecting Jaws. We can do that for another film, another video. But I did say we're going to answer a really difficult question every single week. You guys can leave it in the comments on whatever it is. I swear to you, whatever you leave, as long as it's not going to get me flagged on YouTube, I'll answer it. But I'm going to come up with the first question this week to make it super difficult and awkward. All right. So my question to you is, can two different politically opinionated people have a successful relationship together?
So is it like the extremes? Because I think you can have differing opinions. You can have different politics to an extent. But you can't to the extreme. I don't think you can, because those are like your core values.
Okay, so I will say, remember I've had this conversation. I feel like the most of the world is like mid-left, mid-right, and that the extremes on both sides are what the media loves to play up. But most people are very normal, and they're just like, oh, this person said more things I agreed with, so that's why I voted for him, which is kind of what politics should be in general.
Agreed.
I think if you're in that camp, you'd be absolutely fine. Like, I'm not going to share my political beliefs here because people are stupid, and somebody's going to go on the comments, or probably not, no one's going to comment on this, but somebody's going to be, oh, I hate him, and he's dead, and he's stupid because we don't politically agree. But either way, I lean towards a certain side politically. And one of my closest friends, you know exactly what I'm talking about, leans complete opposite direction. And we might disagree on a few things, but overall, we both love video games and certain things. So we're both really still super close. And even when it comes to you, me and you don't always agree politically because, you know, sometimes you can be an insane person. I'm just teasing. But I think you're right. If you're on that extreme ends, absolutely not. But if you're some like normal, which I would say most normal human beings in general, not even America, most human beings who kind of vote based off of like, oh, okay, well this person's saying more, because like the last election, that's legit what I voted on. You know what I mean? I looked at both candidates and I was like, ugh, well, this one said more things that I like than this one, so I guess I'll vote with that one. And it was as simple as that. And I feel like most people do that. You have your, you know, crazy conspiratists, and then you have your people that go, well, voting doesn't matter. Whatever you feel, I'm not going to disagree with you, argue about it in the comments. I just, you know, so I do think it is possible, and I agree with you on that. So we solved the problem, everybody. That was something you were wondering. We did it.
You're welcome.
We solved it today, so that's it. Anyway, I don't know if you understood this, but this is going to be every video format. This is going to be every week. We're going to record and make sure we record every week. Hey, Hardly. That's actually my wife's, by the way, because she is not only beautiful, but she is badass. But we're going to record like this every week. Like I said, if you came here for Power Ranger stuff, maybe once in a while we'll talk about some Power Ranger things. I would still love to do that. But we're probably just going to talk about whatever we kind of want to talk about in this like podcast format. Anything you want to say? Oh, I do want you to name yourself, because this is Golden Green Ranger presents Positive Podcasting. So I'm the Golden Green Ranger. You are?
You didn't tell me I had to come up with a name. I don't have one.
All right. I got one for you.
Captain Planet.
You heard it here. Golden Green Ranger and Captain Planet. Anyway, you know what? This might not be just the only Power Ranger channel anymore, but hey, still, may the power protect you. Bye. Bye.